fallacies. An appeal to nature is an invalid form of argument, as the primary premise is what is natural is good, which in practice has no clear logical meaning and is an opinion rather than a fact. So when someone says animals kill other animals, therefore it's okay for me to kill animals, they're implying that killing animals is natural and therefore it is good or morally acceptable for them to kill animals. When we try to apply this reasoning to other situations, we can immediately see why it is completely illogical. Human beings murder other human beings. Humans have been murdering each other for hundreds of thousands of years. Therefore, murder is natural and therefore it is morally acceptable to murder other people. Here we have justified murdering other human beings using that same form of reasoning, and this is an action I'm sure all of you find morally reprehensible, at least in most situations, which brings me to my next point: context. A human being living within civilization has a much different situation than a lion living on the African savanna. One has the choice of eating virtually any foods they want due to modern agriculture, whereas the other has no choice but to hunt and kill for survival. Considering that killing is a choice and not a necessity for humans, whereas for lions, killing is an absolute necessity, would you say that lions are perfectly justified in killing other animals, whereas human beings are not? Let's also consider the fact that a lion lacks the mental capacity to conceptualize ethics, whereas a human being does. Although many of you morons intentionally act like even bigger morons so you don't have to accept ethical responsibility, what good would it do to tell a lion not to kill other animals when they kill out of absolute necessity and they don't even have the mental capacity to understand ethics? And on top of all of that, you idiots are comparing yourselves to wild animals that hunt and kill other wild animals, whereas you buy your meat from a grocery store which was made out of domesticated animals, which in all likelihood came from horrendous factory farm conditions where they were fed GMO soy and corn, which is incredibly environmentally damaging. And this also makes you complete hypocrites for using an appeal to nature fallacy, since there's nothing natural about buying your meat from a grocery store. And the next fallacy we're gonna cover is Hey, quiet down back there. You know what? You're all getting detention for disrupting my class. Oh, thanks, Tambry. Now you've gotten us all detention. Like, you really need to learn how to mind your own business. Me
like,
mind my own business? Like, that's rich coming from you. Are you like fucking
seriously
crazy?
Tambry?
You are just the most annoying. Like, you keep going after
Thanks for getting us into
This argument would also qualify as a tu quo q fallacy, as claiming it's okay to kill animals because animals kill other animals is accusing the other party of a similar error in order to justify your actions, and it's pretty easy to see why this is completely illogical, as two wrongs do not make a right. A murder is not justified because someone else committed a murder. Not to mention, you're comparing yourself to wild animals that do not have the mental capacity to conceptualize ethics, and they have a completely different situation than you have. So even though these logical fallacies are pretty easy to understand, let's go through just one more example to drive the point home, because I want you all to really understand that when you make this stupid argument, what you're really saying is that the most destructive, cruel, and completely unnecessary industry on the planet should continue to go on because some wild animals have no other choice than to fight and kill for their survival. Well, what if George Bush used that reasoning to justify the Iraq War? Hundreds of thousands of people killed for absolutely no reason. All it did was cause suffering and death. Well, would this explanation have satisfied you?
I thought it was a good idea to go to war because I saw chimpanzees do it.
Beef. What a relief. When will this poisonous product cease? This is another public service announcement. You can believe it or you can doubt it. Let us begin now with the cow. The way it gets to your plate and how.